Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to receive future updates.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Bryno's Homebrews here on Bryno's World. This week we once again have a 2-for-1 special, so I'm not going to waste any time rambling. Let's just get right into it. And the first thing we're starting out with is an update on the really big beer, the quest of making a 20% ABV beer. And as of now, the news is not very good. The last time I checked the hydrometer, the digital hydrometer here, the gravity was at 81 gravity units, which is still much higher than I would like it to be. I'd like it to be somewhere maybe at the end, maybe in the 30 or 40 range. But it turns out there's a reason for that. You see, I try to do everything possible to make this work, but it turns out you should actually read the instructions for the yeast before embarking on a quest like this. And the manufacturer, White Labs, actually suggested putting the sugar into the wort a completely different way than I had been doing it. See, they recommend putting the sugar in gradually, like over the span of a few days, instead of putting it in all at once, which is what I did. Also, because it's a lot of sugar and a lot of stuff, they recommended putting in a lot more yeast nutrient than I did, probably twice as much as what I did. Plus, one thing that I think I kind of screwed up on was I only took 2 days to make a yeast starter, when I think maybe I should have done it over maybe a longer period of time, like maybe 3 or 4 days or whatever, maybe a larger yeast starter than the, what was it? I think it was maybe like a liter, maybe, or I think maybe I should have gone all the way up to 2,000. I mean, heck, my flask can go that high, so might as well next time, just to give it the best possible chance of working. Nonetheless, I am going to give a gravity reading to see if anything has changed. Another thing was, again, as you saw, my gravity O-meter, my hydrometer went off the scale, so I couldn't really get an accurate reading there anyway. But now that I think about it, if I had done it correctly and put in the sugar gradually over the course of maybe a week, I probably wouldn't have needed to do that. But let's try it in. Let's see what we got. Yeah, I got a gravity reading of this last week off camera. It was at 80 points, 10 or 1.080, and it's the same thing here, so nothing's changed in a week. I'm going to say that fermentation is done, which would put this alcohol rating at about maybe 10, 11-ish. I'm not even going to bother doing the calculations because I know it's not going to get there. So I would say that attempt number 1 of making a 20% beer is a failure. But I learned some stuff along the way, and as I got to put the yeast in, not the yeast, but the sugar in properly. I think also maybe I could have done a better job of aerating this a little bit better. I mean, I swirled it around quite a bit, like maybe 5-10 minutes worth of aerating efforts. So, you know, there were things I could have done better, but I think I did some things right. So, also one thing that I did to try and kickstart stuff up was I tried to add some champagne yeast back in there to see if I could maybe dry it out a little bit more. I still not sure I don't think that did anything, but anyway, you live and learn. I think I'll put this into a secondary sometime. I don't know when. Maybe when I'm done with the video, but I don't think this is going to be any good at all. You know what? Let's not speak too soon. Let's have a taste. One ladle worth. Don't really like the flavor. That's way too sweet. Obnoxiously sweet. It's a step, I won't say a step in the right direction, but I know what not to do. It's also got a weird kind of, not even a sweet aftertaste, but something in the middle of my tongue. It's just kind of off-putting. But anyway, I think next time putting the sugar in gradually would also give me more control, give me more of an idea of how much sugar to put in to get to the 20% mark. I mean, maybe the bitterness I'm getting is high alcohol. I don't know. Maybe it is higher than 10, 11. I don't know. Without that accurate reading at the beginning, I can't really say if it's super alcoholic or not. So there's your update on the super high alcohol beer, or a failed attempt at it. Let's get to number 2. And part 2 comes, 1, with a change in t-shirt, and 2nd, with racking what's left of this, my orange and blueberry wheat, into this keg right here. Last time, if you recall, I told you this stuff tasted like a buttery, unpleasant mess. So I tried to change that and fix it by putting in some liquid yeast into this, some specialty for wheat beers. The whole purpose was just to clean up the, what was the name of the chemical? It was a diacetyl. And, well, we shall see if the yeast did its job. I left it in here for a little over 2 weeks, so you have plenty of time to clean things up. So, with any luck, this will taste a whole lot better than it did a couple weeks ago. So, let's get to racking, and then we'll get to tasting. And away we go. Get the air out. I can't help myself. I had to have a taste. Alright, moment of truth. Did the yeast fix this or not? Here goes nothing. First sign is to be determined. I think I got a little bit of it at the beginning. I might have a better idea if and when it gets cold. Fix that in a bit. While we're waiting for that, this is the gallon jug that I've got the big beer in, which tasted on the weird side. And I don't know if you can see up close, but you might be able to see just how cloudy it is toward the bottom and how clear it is toward the top. I don't know if that's actual alcohol, ethanol, or just separation of the sugars. And I think there's a bit of junk at the bottom too. I don't know if you can see it. But anyway, I might leave this in the secondary for about a month or so just to see if anything happens. Alright, that's that. I'm not seeing much in terms of yeast sediment at the bottom, but at the same time, this wasn't the primary, it wasn't even the secondary, just more of a cleanup, so I don't know. There's only one way to find out, and that's to just taste it and see if it's any good or not at the end. But that first taste gave me a bit of a concern. But again, I did leave this in here for 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks, so let's take this out of the freezer just to give it a chill. Let's see if chilling it helped it out at all. No, I think I still get a little bit of the butteriness there. That's a shame. I had really, really high hopes for this beer, and my own mistake of putting the blueberries in the secondary may have screwed me over. Although one video I did see from a recent subscriber, I think it was, I can't remember, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, is it Stone something Brewery, recently made a big old imperial, is it a raspberry kind of chocolate oatmeal 7-worded stout or whatever it is. But he put his fruit stuff in the primary, which I think might be the way I could go for future videos, just to make sure there's absolutely no doubt that the yeast will consume not only the sugars but any other leftover crap that's at the end. I'm probably going to have to do that in the future, so this doesn't happen again. I don't think the butteriness was as strong there as it was 2 weeks ago. Maybe it's still sticking with me. Maybe it's just the blueberry stuff itself. I don't know. One thing's for certain though, my days of putting fruit in the secondary for beers are over. It's straight into the primary from the beginning. Well, it's been about a day, and I wanted to give this beer the best possible chance of tasting good or bad, so I let it sit in my keg overnight, and now I'm going to have a little bit of a taste right here. Just a teensy weensy taste. See if the buttery flavor may have to do with my mouth or something else. So here's a little shot glass of the beer, so here we go. Again, it's still there, but it's not nearly as strong as it was a couple weeks ago. I'm not getting, the more I drink it, the more I'm thinking maybe the butteriness is, again, maybe it is subdued a bit. But at the same time, I'm not getting any blueberry or orange notes out of it either, so maybe those were fully fermented away from the yeast that was in here. It has definitely improved though, so maybe this beer will not be a waste after all. But as I mentioned before, the lesson learned here, maybe in the future if I'm going to put some processed fruit or pureed fruit into a beer, perhaps maybe doing so in the primary would be the best option. Let some of the residual sugars from the wort sweeten it from that point on. So there's the lesson for this week. But once again, that'll do it for another episode of Bryno's Homebrews on Bryno's World. Thank you for watching. If you got any ideas for things I can make on this show, leave a comment down below. Otherwise, don't forget to like and share this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and click the bell icon to be first to receive future notifications. Once again, thanks for watching, and have a good one.